Hi folks, this is Karim Raouf from the IT Visualizer channel. We will continue our lab, the Terminator lab. This is the video number 38. We have been discussing in the previous video the following. We have been working now for 16 videos on how to deploy Windows 10 using the latest Microsoft deployment toolkit with the help of Windows deployment services role feature in the Windows Server. So we have been working now for 16 videos on how to prepare our environment for this kind of operation. We have done everything according to or following the footsteps of the documentation of Daniel Brother Barbarius. He is a YouTuber that has made a fantastic lab on how to deploy Windows 10 using the MDT and WS. So we have stopped at this step, the step of the capture task sequence creation. So we all know if we need to deploy Windows 10, we need to first install Windows 10 on a test machine and then install the necessary applications, and then we need to make sys prep to this operating system with the programs and then capture an image. So we need to prepare for the capture process. We need to install an operating system and then install the necessary programs and then make a sys prep and then capture an image of the Windows 10 with the necessary programs, and then we can deploy it by creating another task sequence which is called deployment task sequence. All of this will be done using task sequences that are created in the Microsoft deployment toolkit console. Okay, so we have stopped the last time at creating the task sequence to capture Windows 10 Pro x64-bit version. So we have a task to install Windows 10 Pro 64-bit version, install some necessary programs like the PowerShell, like the CMTrace, like .NET Frame, for example, distributable Visual C distributables. All of this we have already created in the task. So we have finished this task. We need to create two additional tasks, one for the Windows 10 LTSC, which will be an exact copy of the Windows Pro 64-bit task sequence. It is the same, but we will change the operating system, or we will see how we can change from the task to install Windows 10 LTSC instead of installing Windows 10 Pro. I will show you how we can create another task, a typical task with the same setting except for changing the operating system type. We will see that we don't need to create another task from scratch to install or to capture Windows 10 LTSC with the necessary programs. I will show you all how we can do that. And then we will have another task to install Windows Server 2022 also on a testing machine, and then also install some necessary programs and then capture an image. Of course, before capturing an image, you need to make a sys prep. Okay, so we will see now how we will create another task, a duplicate task with changing some setting, and then we create Windows Server task. So let's see how we can do that. Very simple thing to do. If you go there, we will see that we have another task. It is a blank task. We don't have any setting created in it, or we don't configure any setting on it. We will need to copy the configuration of this task and put it in this task. So we will see how we can do that, and then after copying the configuration from this task to this task, we need to edit it and make it point to the ISO image of the Windows 10 LTSC. So this task will install Windows 10 LTSC, because if we copy the configuration and put it there, it will get an exact copy of the configuration. So this configuration tells the task sequence to install Windows 10 Pro. We don't need that. We need to make the task or the new task to install Windows 10 Enterprise LTSC. Let's enough talking. We will see how this will be done. So let's go and see that. First, we need to close the console, and then we need to go and see where is the Windows 10 Pro 64-bit task is saved. So basically, the tasks of the MDT are saved in a certain location. Let's see that. So we go to the MDT, and then we have two folders, the capture share folder and the deployment share folder, control, and then here we can see that these are the task sequence. we have three task sequence: Windows 10 Pro 64-bit task sequence, Windows 10 LTSC 2021 task sequence, the Windows Server 2022 standard edition task sequence. So all of these are the task sequence. In it there is two files. We can see TS XML and unattended XML. These are the task sequence. So we'll copy them and put them in the folder of the Windows 10 LTSC. We can see that there are also exactly the same two files, but they are blank. They don't contain any configuration. So when we will paste it, let's see now when we try to open the task, we replace these two files. Let's see when we try to open the tasks or to open the console and open the MDT console, we will see that the configuration of the task of the LTSC system will be exactly the same as the Windows 10 Pro. So we'll open the console. So if you try to open the Windows 10 LTSC and then task sequence, we will see here that all of what we have done in the Windows 10 Pro task are now copied there. But we need to do one little thing. We need to go to the install operating system and point to the Windows 10 LTSC ISO image. So let's go now and change it. Here we can see that it is pointing to the Windows 10 Pro ISO image. We need to change that. All of the settings are typically the same as the Windows 10 Pro, but we need to point to another ISO image which will contain the Windows 10 LTSC. So let's go now and see Windows 10 and then LTSC 2020. Okay, and then this is it. This is how you can make another task exactly the same, but the different thing is the operating system. Okay, so you can do that in very simple steps. Okay, 2 or 3 steps. Now what we need to do here, we need to remove something provisioned. Here we are removing the remove provisioned script and the remove applications script, because the Windows 10 LTSC doesn't contain any Microsoft provisioned applications. This is a stripped version of Windows 10 that doesn't contain most of the normal Windows 10 programs. This is Windows 10 LTSC. It doesn't contain a lot of the provisioned or default Windows applications. Okay, so we don't need this kind of script to be implemented with the Windows 10 LTSC. Okay, so now everything is ready. We need to create, or we need to configure the Windows Server 2022 task sequence. And by the way, some of the steps in the Windows 10 task sequence will be repeated in the Windows Server. We will see now also how we can copy some steps from different task sequence. So now we will open, for example, the Windows 10 LTSC task sequence. We will open it and put it aside. Okay, this is the task sequence. Okay, we will open the Windows Server, which is a blank task sequence. Okay, we will put it side by side. So now we have the task sequence of Windows Server side by side side by side. In the other side is the Windows 10 LTSC. So we can see that the two task sequence are side by side. Now we need to open the task sequence here and the task sequence there. So we can see that now. Here is the task sequence. Okay, and here it is. This is the task sequence. For example, if I need to copy, or I need to have this step, for example here, if we need to have a certain step to be copied from one task to other task, this is very simple. You need to copy it and paste it. Okay, we will see that in a moment. So for example, if we go there and see the Windows Server, this is the capture Windows Server task sequence by Daniel Brother, we can see here, for example, that the first step is to set high performance power mode. We have discussed this before, because Daniel is will install or his test machine is a laptop, so I need to set the high performance power mode for this machine, okay, or for this laptop. Okay, So this is we need to uh, create this step in the Windows Server 2022. And this is very simple. We'll copy it from Windows 10 LTSC task sequence and put it in the Windows Server 2022 task sequence. One moment, guys. So now we will do this very simply, and we can see there is a lot of things here in common. So we can see that some steps in the Windows 10 are the same in the Windows Server, or will be done again in the Windows Server. Okay, so now we can paste. It is under the pre-install gather local only. So now we have copied uh, this step. Very simple. And then we will disable BitLocker, disable inject drivers. The same as we have done in the Windows 10 will be done 90% in the Windows Server. There is some differences, okay? But here we will we need to disable the BitLocker and disable inject drivers and disable apply patches. We have discussed before why we need to disable all of these. We have discussed it when we are discussing the Windows 10 task sequence, okay? So we will do the same. Okay, they are the same as we can see here. The first part are exactly the same in the pre-install section. Okay, so now we will go and begin the post install section. Disable apply batches. This is the same also in Windows 10. Okay, so if you go further in the post install, we will disable apply patches. Okay, apply and okay. Now we need to continue configuring the Windows Server task sequence. Here the first thing, disable drive searching. This is also, we have done it in the Windows 10 task sequence, so we will copy it because we have done it before. So here we can see it is in the uh, post install section. If you go under, no, not the post install, in the state restore section, so we'll copy it and put it under the gather local only, the same. So we'll paste it. Okay, and then let's see if there is any differences. We will here we need to start the audio service. This is a script to start the audio service on the server. Okay, so this will start the audio service on the server. Okay, this is very simple. You don't need to uh, explain it more. Okay, so this is a script to start the audio service on the server. Okay, this is basically, we need to put it under the disable drive searching. We need to add general, then run command line, and then we put the name to start audio service, and then we need to copy the line, this line. Okay, and then we can put here the line, and then in the options we will tell it to continue on error, so it will not stop. Okay, I prefer not to uncheck or to check this point or to check this option. So the task should stop when there is an error. Okay, so here we can see that sync the time with the server. It will sync its local time with the MDT server, okay, which already syncs its local time with the primary domain controller. So we will, this already we have done it with the Windows 10, so this step is already there. If we go there, we can see sync the time with the server, so we can copy it and paste it directly to the task sequence or the server task sequence. So we can see very simple steps uh, to create a task sequence in little time or in less time. Here what we are doing, here we need the server manager when we log into the Windows Server not to open automatically or to start automatically. So this is a script, or this is a line of script to disable the auto start of the server manager when you log in to the Windows Server. Okay, so you can open it manually, but this should not be done automatically, because actually the server manager startup will take something from the RAM. Okay, so anyway, so this is a simple registry key. It can say, you can see from its name, do not open server manager at login. As we can see, it's explaining itself. Okay, so now we can see this is sample registry key. Okay, continue on error. So now basically the server task sequence doesn't have much differences than the Windows 10. The same, we have high performance mode step. This we can copy it. Okay, and then go there and then paste. So very simple. Now what we need to do here, there is a certain script. It will start some services when you log into the Windows Server. So when you log into the Windows Server, this script it will start some services automatically. Okay, so when you capture or during the capture process, Daniel brother wants to make sure that there is some Windows services are up and running. If you go to this one, we have already discussed this one before in the beginning of the lab. If we can go there and see what does this script contain. If we go there and see what does this script contain, if you go there and see the scripts and see the server start services, if you open there, here you can see these are a couple of services. If you tell him Control C and Control V and ask Claude to explain that script. We have done this before, but just to refresh your mind, that's the script in simple terms. Okay, and give a brief. We have done this, a brief about every service. Okay, we can like this and do that. So let's see. We have already discussed this before. Every type of these services we have already discussed before, but this is simply to set the service to automatic. So you set the service to automatic startup and then start the service. Okay, so this is simply, as we can see here, a very simple script. Okay, so say in summary, it configures several Windows services to either start manually or automatic. And so he set them to either start manual or automatic. This sets the desired startup modes and initialize some services related to diagnostic, transactions, logging, and Windows updates. So this is very simple. As we can see, these are different services. For example, map broker, we need to set it to start up automatic instead, or he's saying it to start up manual instead of automatic. So he doesn't need this service to start automatically. Okay, this map broker is related to some Windows Store apps and mapping functionality. This service, the DPS diagnostic policy, okay, needed to start up automatic instead of manual. This helps manage diagnostic policies or related to diagnostic reports and features in the Windows. Okay, so this is very critical service to start up. Okay, as we can see, set the service, the kind of startup, and then start the service. Okay, it's very simple. ULC, this is user access logging service. So this is set to automatic, and it helps to log users access and events. Very simple. We can see. So you set the startup mode of the service, manual or automatic, and then start the service. And every service, as we can see here, what does it do? Okay, so MSTDC, this is a Microsoft Distributed Transaction Coordinator. This is manage distributed transactions. One of the services are Windows updates, something called USOSVC. Helps manage Windows updates. So very simple. As we can see from the script, is to set the service, startup mode, then start the service. Set the service and then start the service. Set the service and then start the service. So very simple and very straightforward. So I need to just close this one if we quit Telegram. Okay, now let's continue our explanation. So this is the script. So Daniel brother insists or need to make sure that some services are running in the Windows Server, and the captured image should include these services uh, in a certain state to be started as automatic or start on manual. This is a good thing. Actually, I think he is also a professional system administrator, because he is focusing on some important services. Actually, it will do a lot of problems if they are not started. Okay, so we can see now this is the Windows Server task sequence. So we can continue. Now we need to another step here. He is something remove evaluation. This is to insert the product key of the Windows Server. So this to remove the evaluation logo. If you are installing Windows Server from the Microsoft, or you're getting the Windows Server ISO image from the Microsoft website, it will install it in evaluation mode. If you need to remove this evaluation mode, you need to insert the product key you purchased for the Windows Server. So this is, as we can see here, this is a script to accept EOLA, or accept user license agreement, and do not restart the server. So you are telling him to insert the key and accept the license agreement, and if there is a restart that is needed to complete the process, do not restart. So this is very simple script. So we have everything configured. Again, here we are or we should enable first we need to restart the machine after removing the uh, evaluation uh, evaluation option from the Windows. We need to install the same programs. We need to enable NetFrame, and then to install the same programs that we have installed in the Windows 10. The same steps, okay, from this until the end. These are the same steps as in the Windows 10. Okay, so now we will basically copy all of the steps from Windows 10 to Windows Server task sequence. Okay, so now we need only to add the step of restart the computer. Then we need to enable Windows updates. Okay, feature, enable Windows updates, pre-application install, and post-application install. So we need to have Windows updates after the install of the applications, and Windows updates after the install of the applications, because if there are some Microsoft products, the Windows updates will update it. Okay, so now we need to add step of installing the role of NetFrame. We need to specify the operating system, Windows Server 20 or 2019. There is no Windows Server 2022, but they are technically the same. Okay, so we need to choose the NetFrame. Okay, .NET Frame 3.5. Okay, and .NET Frame 2 and 3. Okay, that's it. Then we need to tell him apply and OK. So here, as we can see, here we cannot copy this step from the Windows 10 to the Windows Server task sequence, because this step is specifically to install NetFrame for Windows 10, not for Windows Server, as we can see from the options. Okay, so now we have done this. Now we need to continue. Basically, we will copy all of these steps. Okay, we will copy this one, this one, this one. So we'll copy all of these. We have all of this already done before. The only difference that we need to enable BitLocker, it's already there. Okay, so we'll copy most of the steps, copy it from here to there. So copy it and then paste it. Copy and paste. PowerShell 7 and the CM trace, the .NET runtimes, all of these should be installed. Okay, CM trace and the age, of course. Okay, after installing all of these, to make a restart and then install the age and then restart and then to suspend the task sequence. If you need to make any manual modifications to the Windows Server, you can do that. So MDT can help you to make automatic changes to the Windows Server using scripts. But if you need to have something done manually, not through the MDT, you can suspend the task sequence and then begin your changes. We will see that when we capture the Windows 10. I will show you all how useful it is to suspend the task sequence and do some changes. Okay, so now we are pasting some steps. We have the Visual C, we have the .NET frame, we have the PowerShell, we have the CM trace. We need to copy the Microsoft Edge step. But before that, we need to put a restart or install roles and features. Here we are, what we are doing now, we are enabling the BitLocker feature, not to enable the BitLocker option. Okay, the BitLocker feature. You'll see that here we can go there. Okay, BitLocker drive encryption. Okay, so this is the BitLocker drive encryption. We need to add this option. Okay, and continue on error. So I think this is different from enabling BitLocker. This will not work unless the BitLocker option is installed. Okay, I think that. Okay, anyway, so we have already done all of these steps. Enable or BitLocker driver encryption. We have enabled this feature. So what is missing? Still we have the Microsoft Edge, then restart, the same. You can add a restart after the CM trace, and then we need to have the Edge installed after that. So this we need the Edge. Okay, install Edge, and then another restart. Okay, just a moment, guys. So let's continue, guys. Now we need to add the Microsoft Edge step to install it, and then after the Windows updates, I think we need to make another restart. Okay, so Microsoft Edge, and then we need to make another restart. This is the name of the step. Apply and OK. You can add a restart and then a suspend the task step. Here I prefer to make the restart after the Windows update, not before the Windows update. Anyway, so now we have the step of suspend the task sequence. Okay, so Control V, suspend task sequence. This is already, we have already done this before, by the way. This is already, we have this step in the Windows 10, so we can copy it simply from the Windows 10 task to the Windows Server. So this is very simple. We don't need to create it from scratch. We have done this before. Okay, so everything is good to go. Then we need to make a restart in the custom task. So basically we will restart after the Windows update. Okay, so we'll make a restart, and then the same sequence before sysprep. We need to make a cleanup process for the Windows updates installation files, and then the bunny deployment bunny script, which will basically, we will see what does it do exactly. Basically make some clean process for cleaning some temporary files, and cleaning some files that are not needed to have some space in the partition, or on the operating system partition, and to ease the process of the sysprep. Okay, so here what we do, are copying the clean up step, and then we copy the deployment bunny script. Let me show you all what does Claude have to say about this script. I have already told him, or I have already uploaded the script to the Claude AI, and this is what it says after analyzing the script. It says that this appears to be a Windows script file. It's .wsf that performs some cleanup and optimization tasks before running sysprep on a Windows image. Here is a simple explanation of what it's doing. It imports some utility libraries such logging and shell access. It checks what version of Windows is running, Windows 7 or 8 or 10 or server, etc. For a client version, if it discovers that it is Windows 10 client version, it adds a registry key to enable this cleanup utility to purge more caches and temporary files. So it is directing the Windows utility or cleanup utility to purge now more cache and temporary files. Then it runs a utility called dism. Okay, it is a very famous utility to repair component store and reset packs. So this is basically a utility to repair Windows operating system. This is called dism. Okay, it is a very famous utility. So it repairs the Windows before sysprep. So this will make, or if the sysprep is done, it will not be broken. Okay, I think this is what the dism do exactly, to repair the component and store and reset packs. But I need to clarify more on this step. Run clean manager to purge temporary files, caches, and logs. So this is basically a cleanup process. Delete software distribution folder. This is for the Windows update installation files. They are purged or deleted. For server versions of Windows, it also run the cleanup manager to clean up temporary files and etc. temporary files for the Windows. Run dism to repair and reset component store. Deletes the software distribution folder to clear Windows update cache. So in summary, it cleanups temporary files, logs caches, repairing the component store, and generally optimizing the Windows image before capturing or sysprep it. This helps reduce the size of the final image and improve first boot performance. The version checks allow it to run the proper commands needed for each Windows version. We need to clarify more on this step. Let's see, to tell him to explain this step. This step further. So you can see here the component store in Windows contains the system files, setting, and other components that make up an image. It is essentially the brain of Windows. Over the time, the component store can be corrupted or blotted. Okay, so as we can see here, this is a very good answer. Why we need to run the dism command or the dism utility before making sysprep. He is saying that the component store, here it's this line says it run dism to repair the component store and reset packs. The component store in Windows contains the system file, setting, and other components that make up the image. It is essentially the brains of Windows. Over the time, the component store can become corrupted or bloated as components are updated or added. This leads to performance issues or instability. Okay, just a moment, guys. So let's continue, guys. As you can see here, that this utility, over the time, the component store can become corrupted or bloated as components are updated or added. This leads to performance issues or instability. DISM, the utility, is a tool that can help repair and reset the component store. Simply, reset means returning the Windows to its original state or the factory state, or the to make it as if it is a fresh installation. Okay, so these are some commands. These some useful commands. This scans the component store for problems and fixes any corruption or inconsistency. It can help resolve issues with missing or broken system files. Dism online so and so. This will clear any unnecessary components from the store to reduce bloat. It removes older versions of components that are not needed. Dism so and so. This resets the component store by removing all customization and only keeping the default base components. So this is good if you are making sysprep. So not to leave any customized setting in Windows, because this will be a master image. So this is very, very good command to use. I think most of these commands are used in the deployment bunny script. Okay, so in summary, running dism to repair, cleanup, and reset components store helps create a lean, stable base image by fixing corruption, removing bloat, and resetting to factory defaults. This is an important optimization step before capturing and deploying a Windows reference image. Very, very good one. Okay, so this is basically what the deployment bunny script do. It prepares the Windows before the sysprep, resetting the Windows to its factory defaults, fixing the Windows problems, optimizing the Windows. Okay, so all of this is very, very good. Okay, so let's continue our explanation. And the image state reset, we have said before, this is also a small script to prepare the Windows for sysprepping. Okay, so this is basically what we are doing. So we have reached the step of the before the sysprep. So we'll make a restart, and then after that the sysprep process will be done, and then the capture process will be done. Okay, so enable BitLocker, we need to disable this feature. So as we can see, this is enable the BitLocker, not the driver encryption. Okay, so you have the encryption feature enabled, but we do not enable the BitLocker process. Okay, so as we can see here, we are copy and pasting most of the steps in the Windows 10 task sequence. So now we have everything up and running. We need to create our boot images that we will redirect WDS to push it to the client. So the MDT will create boot images, okay, that will be used to boot the clients and enable it to communicate with the MDT server. So now what we are doing, let's go again another step. So what we have done, we have already, let's go further. So after finishing that, we need to tell him to update the MDT. So we have done already everything. We need to go and tell him to update the MDT. This is a very, very critical step. By updating the MDT, we are telling the MDT to create boot images that will be pushed by the WDS to enable the clients to communicate with the MDT server and begin the installation of the Windows Update. So we can see if we go a little bit further. Again, sorry guys, go further. Sorry. Okay, I just need to point a little bit something here. So now we will open this one and right click the capture share folder, okay, and tell him to update deployment share. So this is to tell him to prepare the MDT to create a boot image. Okay, so now we will do that. Okay, the first thing we need to tell him completely regenerate the boot images. This will be done for the first time After that, any updating for the deployment share, we need to tell him optimize the boot images updating process. This is basically first time we need to tell him complete regenerate the boot images, because this is the first time to create the boot image. After that, if any update are done to the tasks or anything are updated to this capture share folder, we need to tell him after that, tell him update and then optimize the boot images updating process. So let's continue. Next. So this will take some time. So we need to update capture share folder and then add boot image to the WDS. Basically, as we said, guys, the same steps in the Windows 10 task sequence are done in the server task sequence. By the way, guys, here, so we have already created the boot images. This is basically what we have done. Then we need to go to the WS and let it point or to import this boot images to the WS, which after that will guide the clients to load it or upload it and begin communicating with the MDT. First of all, this is the task sequence of, or the capture task sequence for the server, Windows Server. As we can see, they are the same steps, okay? All of these until this line, all of these are the same, and actually some of the steps above are also repeatedly in Windows 10 or repeated in Windows 10. So now we need to go to the MDT, or sorry, the WS. Here we need to go to WS and then tell him boot image and then import, or tell him add boot image. These are stored in the MDT in the folder called boot. So now we will go to the capture share folder. Okay, so we'll go to this one and then MDT and then capture share folder, and in the boot section, okay, this is the light touch 64-bit. So this is it. This is the boot image. So we need to give it a good name. Okay, we'll tell you this is the capture Windows boot image. Okay, so this is basically the capture name, and you can give it another description. So this is basically, we have finished with the capture process. The upcoming video we will begin, we will see when we create a blank VM and tell it to boot from network, how it will begin communicating with the WS, and then it will communicate with the MDT and begin the process of installation of Windows programs, sysprep, then capture. Okay, all of this will be done in the upcoming video, but let's wait and see after we finish that. So this is basically, we have finished all of this process. Okay, we will, I think this is the end of the video. I think we will shut down, or I will save the console, and then we will shut down the servers. Okay, and then just going to the step, or going to the Daniel Brothers steps text, and just lining where we have stopped. Okay, so this concludes our video. I am shutting down the server. So this concludes our video. The upcoming video we will see how the capture process is done using the MDT in live, not theoretically. We have prepared the task, we have done everything. We need to see in live action how the task will be implemented. Hope this video informative for you all, and thank you all for viewing. Thank you so much.